Bibleman is a Christian children's television show about a man who protects children by dressing up in a purple costume and fighting demons with a lightsaber. That quick description makes the show seem way cooler than it actually is, but I think that's the best way you can introduce it. Each episode tends to follow the same formula. 1. Some kid has a problem. This can range from problems like lying, being angry, being prideful, gossiping, being fearful, or being depressed. 2. Bibleman is called in to help solve the problem. 3. Bibleman discovers that there is some mysterious villain causing the main kid to act the way they're acting and fights the villain. 4. Bibleman starts going through a struggle that is similar to what the main kid is experiencing. Basically, if the kid's angry, Bibleman's angry. Or if the kid is fearing, Bibleman also fears. 5. Bibleman eventually gets through this struggle, sometimes after having a second confrontation with the villain, and then consoles the main kid before 6. Bibleman fights the villain for the final time and kills them, then comes to find out that the main kid is doing better now. This strict adherence to formula could be compared to something like Power Rangers. And while Bibleman doesn't have quite the vast breadth of different versions like the Power Rangers, there are certainly distinct eras of Bibleman. In the first era, the show was known as The Bibleman Show. This era includes the episodes Big Big Book, Back to School, The 6 Lies of the Fiddler, and Silencing the Gossip Queen. This era focuses heavily on singing and dancing. They have a whole cast of kids that sing throughout the episode about God and Jesus, while Bibleman is just there as an authority to give the kids advice every once in a while. This applies most to the first 2 episodes, Big Big Book and Back to School. These episodes feel more along the lines of something like The Donut Man or Salty the Singing Songbook. The 2 episodes that followed, The 6 Lies of the Fiddler and Silencing the Gossip Queen, feel more like what the show would eventually become, though the group of kids still takes up a majority of the running time, and yes, they still sing. The 6 Lies of the Fiddler was the first episode to introduce the concept of lightsaber duels to the series, something that would carry on throughout the rest of the show's run. The episode Defeating the Shadow of Doubt, I guess, is sort of part of this era as well, as the theme song that plays at the beginning of the episode does refer to the show as The Bibleman Show, but it was never released on VHS as being part of the Bibleman Show, but rather the Bibleman Adventure, which brings us into our next era. The Bibleman Adventure era includes episodes Defeating the Shadow of Doubt, The Incredible Force of Joy, The Fiendish Works of Dr. Fear, Conquering the Wrath of Rage, Shattering the Prince of Pride, Breaking the Bonds of Disobedience, Lead Us Not into Temptation, Jesus Our Savior Part 1, Jesus Our Savior Part 2, A Light in the Darkness, Divided We Fall, and A Fight for Faith. This era brought Bibleman more into the primary focus of the show. Also, this era established the basic formula of the show I talked about at the beginning. Sure, there were episodes within the Bibleman Show era that had villains influencing kids to do bad things, but it was this era that introduced Bibleman experiencing a problem similar to what the main kid was going through within the episode. Unless, of course, you consider Defeating the Shadow of Doubt part of the Bibleman Show era and not the Bibleman Adventure era, because that was the first episode to do the whole Bibleman is experiencing a similar problem to what the kid is experiencing thing, but whatever. Regardless of which era actually started this formula, the Bibleman Adventure era does this formula most consistently. This era also entailed a lot of costume changes for Bibleman, which are kind of mini eras within themselves. Each time the costume changed, the show also changed a little bit as well. The Bibleman Adventure era also introduced Bibleman's computer, Eunice, and his sidekick, Coates. The main villain of each episode changed, but they always had a sidekick named Ludacris, along with the villainous computer, Lucy. Of course, this is another instance where if you consider Defeating the Shadow of Doubt as part of the Bibleman Show era, then you can say Coates, Eunice, and Ludacris were all introduced in that era as opposed to the Bibleman Adventure era. But Lucy, for sure, was introduced in the Bibleman Adventure era, as she did not appear until the episode The Fiendish Works of Dr. Fear. While Ludacris consistently remained the main villain's sidekick, the actor for the role did change from time to time. Eventually, the character of Ludacris was no longer present, and only Lucy remained as a sort of sidekick to the main villains. In terms of Bibleman sidekicks, Coates only lasted 3 episodes, eventually being replaced by the character of Cypher. There is never a clear explanation as to why the character of Coates left, though on the Bibleman wiki it says Coates left because of being a basketball coach. In the episode The Fiendish Works of Dr. Fear, he is coaching basketball at a school, so I guess that is a viable option. In Defeating the Shadow of Doubt, he is shown wearing different medals and is dressed in military-like attire, so maybe he just went back and got a military job. I couldn't find any information on why the actor who played Coates, Mark Wayne, left the show, but given all the different actors who played Ludacris, I'm guessing it wasn't uncommon for people to leave the show, or for people to just be hired for a few episodes. While Coates only appeared in a few episodes, the character who replaced Coates, Cypher, would last throughout the rest of the Bibleman Adventure era and beyond. Eventually, the character of Bible Girl was also introduced, played first by Tracy Hineo, hope I'm saying that right, and then by Heather McSmith. In the episode A Fight for Faith, the original Bibleman retires, and a new Bibleman is chosen to take over. This is the last episode within the Bibleman Adventure era. But armed with a fresh Bibleman, the show was brought into a great new era. The Bibleman Power Source era includes the episodes Terminating the Toxic Tonic of Disrespect, Tuning Out the Unholy Hero, Crushing the Conspiracy of the Cheater, Lambasting the Legions of Laziness, Blasting the Big Game Master Bully, and In the Presence of Enemies. With the new Bibleman also came a new Bibleman costume. Bible Girl's cousin Melody becomes a part of the Bible crew. Other than that, the show is the same. We have a cast of villains for Bibleman to apprehend, and kids for Bibleman to help. Pretty much the same as before. Oh yeah, and the budget is like severely lower. Bibleman was originally owned by Pamplin Entertainment. It was eventually sold to Tommy Nelson. I don't know when exactly it was sold, but I assume it was sold sometime between 2004 and 2006. A Fight for Faith was the last Bibleman episode produced by Pamplin, which was released in 2004. The first Bibleman episode to be produced by Tommy Nelson was Terminating the Toxic Tonic of Disrespect, which was released in 2006. I can't find any information to confirm this, but I believe Bibleman being sold to a different company likely had something to do with actor Willie Ames, the original actor for Bibleman, leaving the show. The reason for Ames's departure from the show seems to be that he wanted to spend more time with his family. This is all according to an Associated Press article I found in a newspaper from 2003 that was listed as a citation on Willie Ames's Wikipedia page, so I'm assuming it's true. I don't know. I found an interview that Ames did with BeliefNet.com where he said, quote, "I never really made the decision to leave that role. The decision was made for me by the company that owned all of Bibleman and all of the products," end quote. He also stated this, quote, "One thing that many people don't know is that even though I created, wrote, produced, and directed everything and wrote all of the books, I never owned a piece of it. I still don't own a piece of it. I was just kind of a hired gun and did things job by job. As soon as I was unable to do that, the job was given to somebody else," end quote. Ouch. That sounds pretty harsh. Of course, this is just going off of Ames's word, so this has an equal chance of being true or false in my opinion. Even if it is true that Ames didn't willingly leave the show, but was rather kicked off of the show, I mean, that's a lot of work that's not getting done. Ames did have a lot of credits as producer, writer, and director on many of the Bibleman episodes, as he said in the BeliefNet.com interview. I assume it would probably be hard to find that level of dedication in another actor for Bibleman. I mean, even if that actor is good, they may not be willing to be as involved in the production of the show as Ames was. So after Pamplin produced their last Bibleman episode, A Fight for Faith, which had Robert T. Schlipp introduced as the new Bibleman, they might have realized that they didn't have another Willie Ames on their hands, and just decided to sell the property out of fear that people wouldn't want to watch a Willie Amesless Bibleman. This is just my personal theory, so who knows? So, Tommy Nelson now has the rights to Bibleman. Unfortunately, the polish that the show had, comparatively. was now gone. But why is this? Well, Willie Ames, while certainly not a huge name, had previous experience working on TV and movies. That established experience likely helped producers of the show be more willing to put money in it. So when you don't have a Willie Ames attached to your show, I'm guessing you're probably not going to get as many people willing to invest. Of course, there's also the possibility that a lot of the money that was used to produce the show came from Ames himself. But I do still find the whole situation kind of weird. I think Bibleman was still a relevant enough Christian property at the time to at least garner some interest from producers, but I guess not. It's not like the Bibleman Power Source era starts out looking just as good as the previous era, and then after a few episodes, after interest had died down, eventually starts looking like a bad YouTube video. The whole era just starts out looking like a church group made it, which may be actually how the episodes were made. There are also weird odds and ends with Bibleman, like Bibleman Jr. and the Bibleman live shows, which I will cover at the appropriate times. I know that there is that Bibleman animated series, and I might talk about that, but I don't have enough experience with that show as of now to really dig deep into it. My plan, as of now, is just to go through the Bibleman series chronologically, covering the different eras and seeing how the show changes over time. I actually have a lot to say about Bibleman because I grew up with it and I kind of have a personal connection to it. There have been so many different Bibleman reviews on YouTube over the years, including some really great ones, but I always wanted to see someone really dig into Bibleman and go through like all of the episodes. So I guess I'm gonna have to be that person. I'm really excited to start this and I hope it turns out well. So, see you next time.